How's it going, everybody? Radio. I'm still going through the project from yesterday to make for you guys a backing track for if you're doing tin whistle or bouzouki, or if you're learning any sort of trad music. It's always handy to have, you know, a couple of backing tracks in whatever key we're doing it in. This one's going to be in the key of G, so I'm nearly finished it. I was hoping I'd have it finished for today, but it's taken longer than I thought. So I'm still trying to get an exact sort of sound for you guys. It's aesthetics at this point. I'll show you what I'm doing. So at the moment, if I go back to the start, I just want to check to make sure you guys can actually hear this. My goodness. Okay, let's see if that's coming through on YouTube. Okay, it is. Radio, so we're close. And it's only like a couple of extra wee things to do. At the moment, the Bouzouki's that I've recorded are just a wee bit too trebly. I'm trying to take them down a little bit more, and then I'll bounce it, and then it'll be done. And then I'll share it with you guys. This was my first attempt, which is just too crazy. There's just too much going on in it. It's just far too many like channels and too many things going on there. So what I'm going to do is I'll try something a little bit more relaxed than that. I've taken the guitar out of it. The guitar, I think, was the main thing that was making it too trebly. But at the moment, the issue I'm having, as you guys will see when I zoom in, it's actually going to be the Bouzouki. So we listen. So at the moment, that's a wee bit of a mouse. Let me see if I can just turn everything up a little. Yeah, it's going to be fun trying to do this. Let me see. Let's try that. Yeah. Now we'll need some of those. Yeah, it's just trying to get rid of that over the top treble, but not make it too muffled either, you know. Okay, let's hear what that sounds like from the start. The sound that I'm aiming for is something more like what I was letting the guys yesterday hear, which is this. Now that's from the website, Irish Traditional Accompaniment, which is excellent, but I'm going to try and do it in other keys and in slip jigs and hornpipes and stuff, but I want to try and aim for this sound. As soon as I've got this sound, then that's like half the battle. So let me hear just the bouzouki on its own again, just to get an idea of that sound. Let's hear of everything. I'm going to try and actually aim for the same thing that I had here. I'm just going to keep that open for a sec and try the same one. Let me see, what did I have here? Okay, so yeah, there's a bit of a cutoff here just to get rid of some of the unusual sounds I think that I have. I think it's because a lot of this is recorded from a pickup. It should be acoustic instruments. I was silly doing that. I should have actually just recorded straight into a microphone rather than going through the pickup system, but it's, you know, I don't want to go through it all again. So I'm just going to try and copy just when I'm doing that to have a listen through it. Yeah, so let's make him solo, and just that little section at the start or here actually would be enough. As soon as I get the beginning of it, that's it. So far so good. Let's bring this down a wee bit. It's getting a wee bit thin, I think. It's still very trebly, but I'll be taking all this down. If I take, first of all, take this down. 12/8. Does that look the same? I think it is. Roughly, anyway. I think it is. Okay. Let's hear it. And those octaves you have to change as well. That's there wasn't even anything on this. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. I didn't add anything. Whoops. to the Bouzouki octaves. I need some effects. Whoops. I was wondering why it was all sounding so trebly, because, well, I've just realized, like, if you listen to this, I might have had to, well. See, this is what happens when you miss one thing. Okay. Yeah, let's add some. God. What do we have for here? Well, we have some EQ that we need to add. We have some verb. That's probably Studio A. Yeah, for both of these. Okay. Let's add. Yeah, okay. We'll go to the Studio A. Let me see. Room Studio A. 70-30 is grand. Let's see. Okay, that's the first thing. And also, yeah, EQ. So let's bring up the EQ. I want all the Bouzoukis to have the same sort of EQ sound, just to be sure that, at least, I know it's 3 different ways I've recorded it, but it's just to make it sound as if it was one Bouzouki all along. So let me see. Yeah, 57. Okay, 44. That's weird going the other way, but I'm not gonna question it. Okay, whatever, it'll work. Hopefully. Yeah, these are all going the wrong. Well, all over the place. I'm not gonna question it. Okay, up 5 decibels. Okay. It's going the other way. Okay, yeah, well, not to worry. It's not meant to be studio professional. You know, it's just, it'll do. The people watching this here are used to using Logic and thinking, what in the heck is going on here? It's me messing around. 3, 7, 6, -4. Okay. Yeah, this is to kill the treble, but I suppose if I had to move the other thing all the way over, well, it doesn't matter. I can't think of what the technical terms for some of these are. No, there's just, you would need to, what is going on? Why is that so high? You would need to be doing degrees in sound engineering to get this. Figure out what I'm doing, because I have no idea now. Just move that. Yeah, okay. Well, why was that so high then? Doesn't matter. Okay, it's 3. That's weird. Doesn't cut off a lot, to be honest, but anyway. Yeah, it's gotten rid of a lot of it. Like, that's with... Hear the difference? Well, it's just like throwing a wet blanket over it, you know, just to muffle and mute the sound a wee bit, the treble sound of it. That's all. It doesn't sound like a huge difference. But remember, there's 3 Bouzouki channels here, and when you add all 3 of them together, it's just a heck of a lot of treble. And then I've taken the guitars out entirely. So there was a guitar over the top of this as well, so it was really, really trebly. This is what it sounded like here. So it's really, really trebly. Hopefully it's a wee bit more. Yeah, let the bar on come out a wee bit more as well. Okay. Now, hopefully, if I have a look-see at the things here, that all should be similar, is it? Yeah. Yeah, so the shimmer shaker, there's nothing I really did to that. That's literally just recorded straight in, you know, as was from the plugin Shimmer Shake. So I haven't done anything to that. I haven't even panned it or anything. It's just as. It's still not going to be as good as this. I would need the microphones. Yeah. Do-do-dum. Do-dum. Do-do-do-dum. Yeah, so that should be something like here. Here. Okay, let me hear that. Doodle doodle dum. And there should be one going da 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 dum. I think it's this one. Oh, must be this one. Ba 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 bum. Okay, let me turn him up because he is titchy. He should be da 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 dum, quite loud. And then I think that will be it finally. Yeah, okay, that is really quiet. We can afford it for it to be a little bit louder than that. Let me see. Yeah, 7. Okay, so let me hear that just as is of everybody. I might even push it up to 5. Okay, I think that'll do it. Let's see. How are we here? I'm just going to bounce it just to see what it's like. It'd probably take a minute or two to bounce because it is quite long. Take accompaniment. Take 2. Take 2 desktop. Yeah, it's going to take a minute. Okay, what's the whole point of this? Well, the whole point of it is that eventually I'll be able just to not only just give this to you guys that you can use to practice, and also I'm going to be changing the times. 120 is kind of like a nice steady tempo to play at. You can of course go to like to 130, 135, which is more sort of a lively session. I'm just going to keep it around about 120 as like my standard. That sort of suits me for teaching. Sorry, 2.6. I just forgot that wee light wasn't on. And yeah, I'll probably make some for polkas and for hornpipes and for slides and slip jigs. The sort of less well played, or they're not less well played. They're not as popular as your jigs and your reels. I'll do the jigs and reels first because everybody wants jigs and reels. But I want to do polkas, I want to do slides, I want to do hornpipes, I want to do slip jigs. Speaking of which, I'm going to upload that actually. You guys will see that actually being uploaded. So I'll publish that. Like I recorded a slip jig and that I'm going to post up to social media, and you're more than welcome to have we listen to it. And I will be doing an accompaniment like this to it eventually, but it's taken me a good chunk of a day and a half just to get all this. Yeah, because I had to do it again. Hopefully this is going to sound slightly better. Like here's the first time I did it, just to compare the two of them. Here's the second time. I think that's nicer. And here's the... if you do it through proper microphones. It's a lovely sound to that baron in there as well. So yeah, definitely go over to their website, guys. If you weren't here yesterday, I'll show you where it is. It's not their website, sorry, it's on their YouTube channel. I'll show you guys where you can locate this stuff. It's really, really good for accompanying. I would highly recommend it. I wish I had something like this when I was learning trad music for the first time. Let me see if I just go into pop into YouTube and show you guys where it is. Oh yeah, there's me live. Okay, if I go Irish Tradition, oh there we go. Irish Traditional Accompaniment came straight up. Yeah, these are the guys here. And that's the one I was using, the jig 120 beats. Definitely worth checking out. Subscribe and use these as your accompaniment. If you go to the playlist part of it, you'll find that the reel in E and D and G, A, and also the jig in G, D, E, and A. The most popular tunes are keys that we use in Irish traditional music. It shouldn't really matter either what, if it's E minor or E major, because most of the time I think whoever made these is using power chords, so there's only two notes in the chord. So you don't know if it's a major chord or a minor chord. It's kind of half and half. So it works very well. It should be one of these things that you can use for any key. The only thing I think we're missing here is, the jigs, the polkas, the hornpipes, but my goodness, it must have taken them ages just to make these, and well worth a listen. Get stuck in there, guys. And then hopefully at some stage I'll be able to release my ones out to you. Now I'm going to try something. I'm going to try playing a tune for you guys on the whistle and see, does it line up now? Yesterday it didn't. I was hoping it would. I was hoping I'd be able to play it straight out of Logic Pro, play it live for you guys, and then, that would be enough. But it didn't work. I was off by like 3/4 of a beat. It was weird. It wasn't even that I could line it up. It was a weird sort of thing. So hopefully this is going to work. I'm just going to save this first of all and then jump out. Yeah, so traditional music accompaniment, really, really good. Okay, so this is the take 2. I'm going to get rid of this one because I don't like it anymore. And here's the take 2 is now take 1. Okay, so if I just open that here, if I could play along with that. A sight rated tune. Okay. So the tune I'm going to do is called Brendan's Birthday. I have no idea that this tune is. This is part of, I'll show you guys. This is where I got it from. Michael McGoldrick's 50 Original Tunes and Chords, Volume 1. I'm hoping there's about 10 more volumes to come. So, yeah, if you're going to do that, Michael, I'll be buying all of them. So, yeah, please do get as many volumes out as you can. And this is the tune. I'm just going to briefly show it because I don't want, copyright or anything, but it's called that. Brendan's Birthday. Okay, so I have no idea. I've not heard this tune before, so I'm just going to sight read it and play along. And that's the great thing about having it at 120 like this, is that it's not too fast. It's a nice sort of relaxed speed. For me anyway, I won't be able to sight read up to full session speed. Well, maybe some easier tunes, but not this tune. So let's see if I can do that and see what you guys think. I'm going to also listen back to see if I'm in time with this anymore. Okay, here we go. That should be enough to let me know. That's a wild whistle I switched over to, so it'll be quite loud. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's still not in time, as you guys could no doubt hear. So, yeah, it's going to be one of these things that I'll probably need to figure out the delay, what's going on. Because usually when I do this with you guys, you know, if I download a tune, maybe it's just the whistle. It's this. It's the delay out of this microphone. Yeah, let's see if I can figure that out for you guys, because with the Bouzouki, it's actually okay. as far as I remember. Yeah, it's usually okay. So let me see if I can figure out why this has been delayed so badly. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's change that. Tin whistle is at 200. It should only be 100. That may explain a lot. Whoops. Yeah, this is my audio thing. This is a 200 and all the others were at 100. So yeah, the Bouzouki audio pickup. So yeah, that may have been the issue. So I'm just going to quickly try it again just to see. I have to open up that tune again because I have no idea. It's a great wee tune, actually. Be a good piping tune for the inland pipes. I have to get that out some stage. Okay. Let me see. If I just try this again. Let me see. That was in my ears. That was in time, but we'll see with the. Let me see with the thingy, with YouTube, just to see if you guys can hear it in time. Let me see. That doesn't sound right either. Just play. Oh. Okay, that sounded better. Okay, so if you're interested, guys, is there any way I could just send this to like the chat? I'm gonna put this on my website anyway, this jig accompaniment thing. If you're interested in it, I'll be making more for reels, jigs, and whatever. It's just nice to have something to practice with that isn't a, you know, a clickety metronome. So that's what we'll do. Let me see. Oh, my light's gone out as well in the background. That's not good. Okay, everything's breaking. Okie dokie. Not to worry. Jig accompaniment is done. But still go over to their website, guys, Irish Traditional Accompaniment, and check them out because their stuff's really good. Like you can tell it's, you know, proper microphones and stuff that are pointing at instruments and not, you know, me plugging stuff in, you know, from one electronic thing into another electronic thing, and eventually it ends up in the computer. Yeah, you can tell that whoever did the other one, it's really, really nice, really, really proper sound, acoustic sound to it. Whereas mine is just mostly, you know, trying to get things to work together, electronic stuff. Okay, let me see just to make sure that's there. It's still there, good. Okay, so the other thing that I'm going to upload as well, I'll do that right now, in fact, is another slip jig. So I actually think it's the first slip jig for this channel. I think nearly everything I've done so far has been jigs, reels, polkas, marches, that type of thing. So let me see if I just go into my videos. I have to remember everything. Yeah, farewell to Molly Range. She Begs She More will go up tomorrow. That's done, but I'll leave it that until tomorrow. I don't want to put too many things up at once. It sort of annoys people when you're like, oh, I missed that, because you put that up and that up and that up all at the same time. So I'm only going to put up this one, I think. Farewell to Molly Range. Yeah, creepy red photo. There you go. Yeah, that's from last Practice with Me session. So that's going to go up now into YouTube and other places. Okay. Might take a while, actually. I think it will wait until I'm finished with this live before it goes up. But I'm just going to do it now so that as soon as I stop tonight's live, that'll be ready to go. Okay. That should be it. I'll add description and stuff after. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna take a wee minute after. So as soon as tonight's live session ends, that short will be up if you're interested in it. Farewell to Wally Range. Someone was asking as well if I'd be able to do a wee bit more just on the tunes in Irish traditional music, like the different styles, the different types that we use, and all the sort of keys and stuff. So we've looked at keys before, but we haven't really looked at like all the different sort of types of Irish traditional music. So jigs and reels are a big one, so we'll do those first, I think, and then we'll work our way through. Well, what's a slip jig? What's a polka? What's a hornpipe? Just to make sure that you have an idea when you're accompanying something, where you're hearing something for the first time, that you know what it is, and you're able to accompany it without worrying about rhythms and stuff. All you have to do is think about chords. So if I go into, let me see, it would be under instrumental tuition, and it would be under Bouzouki. I think it's probably around lesson 15 of the course that I started talking about this. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Might be an earlier version of this I can look at. Yeah, probably this one. This is a handy wee handout. This is available for anyone who does the courses with me. The mini course as well as the full course. You have access to all of these handouts, and in those courses I go through these in a hell of a lot more detail than I do on these lives. These lives I just go through it like briefly. But this is one of the handouts that I use with students, just to sort of go through all the different types of Irish traditional dance tunes that we have, and the sort of rhythms to watch out for when you're doing that. So the one that I was doing there with Wally, Farewell to Wally Range, is a slip jig. Dum da 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 dum da 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 dum ba 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 bum. So I have no bacon and sausages. There's sort of little rhymes and things that I have here to help students, especially younger students, remember. If they can say these rhymes, then they'll hopefully be able to think of the rhythms. But a lot of older students just think of the actual rhythmic units that we use. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 quavers, or 9 eighth notes, as the Americans would call it, eighth notes. That is the fundamental thing about slip jigs. There's no other time signature in Irish traditional music or there's no other type of tune that uses that time signature. It is just slip jigs. Okay, so it's very easily recognizable if you can hear this rhythm. So the butterfly is one of the more famous ones here. I'm just going to make sure I'm still on whistle so I can actually play it for you guys. Yes. Okay. So on the whistle, if I just bring this up. I wonder if I can do two things at once here. Let's keep it simple so we can see the whistle. I'm just going to move my mic out of the way, but hopefully you guys can still see. Yeah, there we go. So for the butterfly slip jig, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. It's got that little 7, 8, 9 at the end of each bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ba, 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 ba. So it's like a jig with a little bit extra added in. And the one that I was doing with Farewell to Wally Range was the. So bum ba 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 bum da 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 dum. So a lot of students think that it's like a waltz. Like they think of it 3 time, 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't. I would be a little bit wary of that because there are waltzes and mazurkas as well. Like so, there's other time signatures that have 3 in the beat or 3 in the bar. Like a waltz does have 3. And mazurkas, which I haven't written down here, I don't think, they also use triple time as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what's the difference? What's the difference between a slip jig and a waltz? Well, it's the next division down. So once you're doing a waltz, you're thinking of 1, 2, 3, but you should be able to split each of those beats into 2 separate parts, 2 equal parts. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and that tends to be the rhythms that you hear inside of that. Okay, so you tend to hear like 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and when you're listening to a waltz. Okay, so that's going to be something to watch out for when you're dealing with waltzes is can you hear the next division down from the main beat, the actual rhythms that are being used. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing then is, well, if that's what waltzes do, if they're 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and what are slip jigs then? Well, each beat should be split into 3 equal parts. Okay, that's the difference. Waltzes, you'll split each beat into 2 equal parts. And slip jigs, you'll split each beat into 3 equal parts. Okay, so be careful of that, guys, because when somebody says it's in 3 time or something, like if you're in a session environment or something, and it may not be 1 and 2 and 3, and it could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the way that I show students that on my computer is the little app that I use, Part, probably the Part. So if we take just 2 bars here, suppose, let's have a listen to see what we have. So 1, let's move that into 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's a, could that be a waltz? Could that be a slip jig? That's the pulse that you're hearing. So you don't know until you hear the rhythmic units underneath it. So let's see what a waltz would be if we just move this. One and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and you see the way each green is a main beat and each of those beats can be split into 2 equal parts. That's a waltz. If you take the 3 beats and split them into 3 equal parts, what you end up with is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. I haven't changed the pulse. I haven't even sped up the tempo. It's exactly the same tempo and pulse. It's just the rhythmic units are different. So one's ba 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 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. It's hard to say the 7 because it's 2 syllables. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 ba 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 1 2 3. And the waltz is 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and the mazurkas would be that as well. They'd also be 1 and 2 and 3 and like da 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 1 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 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 2. So yeah, they're quite steady. Whereas the slip jigs have a bit more of a lilt to them. All of this comes into something called simple time and compound time. Simple time is the ones that can split into 2 equal parts, like waltzes. And compound time is the beats that are split into 3 equal parts, and those would be your slip jigs. So your slip jigs, or hop jigs if you want to call them that, no difference really. Slip jigs 9/8, single jigs and double jigs, they're 6/8. They're also compound time, except the only difference between the double jigs, single jigs, and slip jigs is that for the slip jigs it's 3 beats per bar, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And for your jigs, not your slip jigs, just your ordinary jigs, double or single, doesn't matter. That's 2 beats per bar. 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. You still split each beat into 3. 1 2 3 4 5 6. The only thing that you add for slip jigs is the 7 8 9. That's the extra bit. So those are all what we would call compound time. 2 beats per bar, 2 beats per bar, 3 beats per bar. Each of those 2 beats can be split into 3 equal parts. That's where you get your 3 quavers from. Whoops, that looks like a semi-quaver. Let's draw that again. I don't know why I'm doing it so small. Let's try that a wee bit larger. Okay, so that'll be your first beat. 1 2 3 4 5 6. There's your second beat. There's your 4 5 6. And exactly the same thing for single jigs as well. For slip jigs, 1 2 3, yes, same as before. 4 5 6, yes, same as before. But you also have 7 8 9. Okay, so be careful of that, guys. It's one of the things that it kind of annoys. That's one of the reasons why you'll see a lot of trad players be a little bit mean towards us accompanists. When they see a guitar coming or a bouzouki coming, some people you'll know will go, oh no, here we go, because there's so much that you have to know that somebody playing just the flute or the fiddle or, you know, the pipes, whatever, they just take it for granted. When they're learning the tune, they're learning the tune. When you're trying to accompany a tune that you don't even know, there are so many extra musical and musicianship things that you need to develop. So not only just your rhythm, not only just the chord progressions, not only do you have to have a good ear if you don't know the tune, you need to be able to hear the rhythm, you need to be able to hear the pulse, you need to be able to hear the little rhythmic units inside the pulse, you need to be able to tell the difference between compound and simple time, you need to be able to tell the difference between major, minor, and Ionian and Dorian. So there's a lot of, you know, extra things that you have to develop with your listening skills. So that's the tricky part, like accompanying trad music on the guitar, on the bouzouki, just like on the bodhrán. It's easy to pick up a bouzouki and the guitar and the bodhrán and just lash away at any old thing. It is. You can sort of get away with a lot doing that, but people will know in a session that you're just winging it. And especially if it starts interfering or putting people off when they're trying to play a tune, it's really bad. That happens. So play lightly if you're not sure what you're doing, you know, sort of learn as you go. But really what you should be doing is trying at home when you're practicing to hear these differences, to train your ear, to hear the differences between a single jig, a double jig, and a slip jig. And the easiest way to do that is listen. Get into Spotify, get into YouTube, and type in single Irish traditional jigs, double Irish traditional jigs. And this little handout deals with most of the differences. To say there's a few things that are missing, like mazurkas and stuff, but you know, the main sort of things to watch out for here would just be the rhythmic values. That's the main difference between the double jig and the single jig. is the single jigs tend to not have as much repetition inside of the phrase. So in double jigs, you get a lot of da 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 da. Like the Kes jig's a double jig. Da 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 da. You hear the same thing again. Da 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 da. So there's a lot of repeated phrases and repeated rhythmic ideas in a double jig. In a single jig, there tends not to be as much as that, and they also tend to have a bit more of a bouncy rhythm to them. There's much more crotchet quaver movement in a single jig. Bum ba bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba 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 bum. Smash the Windows is a good example. Da 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 dum ba bum ba 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 bum. If I was to try and butcher my way through that, let's see if I can do this with could I do this with the accompaniment turned down maybe? Yeah, let's have a go. First ever world premiere of me butchering something on the whistle again. Where would I save this? Was it music? Yeah. I'm just going to try the accompaniment and just turn it down a wee bit. Oh, forgot it's in G. This is in D. Let me see if I can find a single jig in G. I can actually do this with sight reading. That's going to be good. Yeah, if we go to the session.org, that's another good place to go, as well as, of course, YouTube and Spotify, is get into the session.org and just look for single jigs. I wonder if they still do it that way, or is it just jigs? Let me see. Slip jig, regular jig, new jigs. Let me see if I can find Irish Traditional Single Jig. Yeah, I don't want to copyright anything by playing stuff. This is the problem of doing it on YouTube. Let me see. Single jig in G. Scatter the Island is the first thing that came up. Let me see if I can find that. Scatter the Island. Okay, interesting. Let's see. No idea. Oh my goodness. That's a wee bit fast. Let me see. That is awkward for the. I'm gonna try that. That's an interesting one. I've never come across this rhythm before. Yeah, that sounds weird. See that those two bars there. Ba ba bum 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 ba 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 bum. I think what's happened there is that is probably usually a crotchet. I wonder if it is another. Oh, different keys entirely. Yeah, see here it's usually a crotchet. That's a different key though. And there it's usually a crotchet. So yeah, it looks like it's usually written out as a crotchet, but here, this particular version, somebody's written these out as these crotchets as repeated quavers. That's not the norm. It should be like this. Much easier, as you can tell. Okay, let's see if that works. So this is a single jig. Not bad. I would have to obviously sit down and learn that, but hopefully you guys can hear that. There's a bit more of a bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum. Whereas in the double jig, it's a lot more. There's a bit more of a repeated sort of quaver movement the whole way through, and there's a lot of repetition inside of the phrases as well. Whereas in the double jig, there's a lot more repeated ideas. I still like single jigs though, because they're a little bit more, I suppose, they're harder to learn, I think, and they're a bit more interesting. There's a lot more you can do with it in terms of ornaments, because you can, all of these, there's so many more crotchets that you can put half rolls into, so there's so much more interesting stuff you can do. And this is it in D. I obviously can't hit that note on the whistle. So but obviously it's lower. That would be really nice in the fiddle. They should be able to play that no problem. Yeah. So if I go back to the handout, the Smash the Windows one is a really good example of a single jig as well, because there's lots of these, crotchet quaver rhythms the whole way through it. It sort of breaks it up. It breaks up sometimes the monotony of playing jigs, where it's da 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 the whole way through. With single jigs, there's a lot of stop start going on. That's my memory. After obviously relearn that one as well. So yeah, smash the windows. Da dum da dum da dum da 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 dum ba bum ba bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba bum. Okay, so eating bacon, dum da dum da dum. Okay, that's the thing to watch out for when you're trying to remember these tunes. Okay, let's go back to normal mic. There's me back to normal mic. Okay. So that's the first three things I would say, guys, when it comes to learning your accompaniment. You need to know, first of all, you need to be able to hear the pulse. You should never have to ask, okay? Usually, believe it or not, if you play guitar or bouzouki, you're going to be the go-to person for a lot of other people. So you should know. It should be other musicians who'll come to you asking, what key is this, and what tune is this, what rhythm is it, do you happen to know? If you don't, that's fine, but just be aware that usually you're the one who has to answer the questions, not ask them. Because they know that with guitar players and bouzouki players, there's a lot of extra things that you've got to take into account other than the tune. You'll have a whole store of chord progressions and keys and little melodic ideas to play with your chords that you'll have built up over time. And you'll hopefully be able to very quickly note down any changes of key from one jig to another, or even sometimes in sessions nowadays, completely changing the form, from reel to jig. Or the structure of the piece to know where you are in the piece, I should say. Like, is it the A section, the B section? Have you already repeated it? How many times have you gone through the tune? So you kind of need to have a very good musical ear to build these things up over time. That most people, when they're learning trad music, they're just learning the tune and hopefully trying to remember variations and ornaments that you don't have to worry too much about, but they do. So they know that they're not going to play the tune exactly the same the whole way through every single time. And they need to know when they're going to switch into another tune and know what the next tune is. So there's kind of a lot of things going on in a session other than just the music that you're hearing. For most people just listening in, it is just the music that they're hearing, but there's a lot of sort of unsaid things happening in the background. Besides any sort of feuds or anything going on, or anyone sort of annoyed at each other, there's lots of other things that are going on in the background as well. What tune are you going into? What tune did you come from? Sometimes there's even groups of tunes that everybody plays together and they know what the next tune's going to be. And if you've played with that group many times before, you'll probably know as well what key you're going to go into right after the tune that you're playing. So you need to be able to do this very quickly, especially for tunes that you don't know. Because it'll be very apparent as well if you're accompanying someone and you're in the completely wrong key. Okay, the best thing to do if you're unsure, stop. The amount of times people don't is a wee bit shocking. If you don't know and you're getting strange looks, stop. There's no harm. Especially if you do it at the beginning of the tune, people will say, "Oh, right, he was trying to figure it out." But don't keep trying to figure it out as you're going through the tune and you're putting other people off. You're probably even stopping other people from joining in. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing then is the reels, hornpipes, polkas. Like, these guys are going to be in simple time. I'll even include Strathspeys there just for the crack, even though that's more of a Scottish thing, but why not? Yeah, so anything with a 2, 4, or even a 3 as the top number is going to be simple time. So reels are in 4 time, hornpipes are also in 4/4 time, polkas are in 2/4 time. Sometimes it's hard for beginners to know the difference between polkas and reels because they just hear, is it 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They sound very similar. So there's things to watch out for when it comes to rhythm as well for that. With Strathspeys, they're going to be quite easy, I hope, the more you get experience playing those. But they're super rare in Irish traditional music, but very popular in Scottish traditional music. So depending where you're playing, you could have a lot of these in your session. Okay, marches and waltzes and airs and stuff are nowhere near as common as these guys, but yeah, we'll look at them afterwards. Okay, so for reels, Black and Decker, Black and Decker, Black and Decker. These are the most common Irish traditional tune that we have. And it's just a rake of quavers or eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sometimes you'll have the odd break of a crotchet here and there. But most of the time it is just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, diddle, 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 diddle. And sometimes it is notated in some of the older tune books as 2, 2. There's really no difference, guys. You know, are you counting the absolute biggest beats in the bar? 1, 2, 1, 2. Or are you counting the smaller beats? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 2 and the 4. So if you're doing it this way, it'd be like 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The main beats are on 1 and 3. Or you can do it as just 2 beats in the bar, like 1, 2, 1, 2. It makes no difference. So the most common, you should be able to hear this. It's almost like rapid fire of quavers that just doesn't stop. It's non-stop the whole way through. So Cooley's reel is obviously a very good example. A lot of people learn to begin with. So again, just going back to the whistle. Oops. Just to let you guys hear this. I don't have a accompaniment yet for the reel, so we'll just turn this off for a wee sec. But I suppose I could do it with Polly the Parrot. Yeah, this is what I used to do. Just turn this off. Okay. It's a wee bit quick. I wonder if this is going to be in time. This will be an interesting experiment. Yeah, it's probably about session speed. If you want to learn it, you'd probably go down to about 100 maybe. 4. Okay, so that's more of our learning speed. Okay, so ba 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 bum ba ba bum. So da 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 dum. Three, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 dum da da dum da 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 dum. It's probably more this sort of speed here. That tends to be sort of the average session speeds, 120. Sometimes they go a lot faster than that, which is, I think, ridiculously fast. 120 is usually the max for me in everything. Okay. Let's go back. I have to keep remembering to go back to microphone. There we go. Okay, so back into microphone. Da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. Okay, so that's the Cooley's reel. Hornpipe, bouncy rhythm, bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum ba bum ba bum. If I was to play that on the piano and show you guys, there's going to be quite a few things to watch out for with hornpipes. First main thing is the dotted rhythm. It should be dotted. I've seen it written down in books where they don't put a dotted rhythm in. They just write it like as if it was a reel. And I've heard guys play it like professional, the best musicians, like guys out of the Chieftains, guys out of the Bothy band. You know, they play it straight quavers. So that's another way of doing it. Traditionally, and most of the time, hornpipes are usually played with a dotted rhythm. Okay, not always though, but I'd say 90% of the time they are. So they're not as fast as reels anyway. So that's the first thing. If I can Oh, why is this so weird looking? 2 seconds to make this. There we go. What happened to my piano? So. Why does that sound so weird? Oh. I forgot Logic was open. I can hardly hear that, guys. Sorry. Where is it? Have I not activated this? Ah. There we go. There we go. Hopefully you guys can hear that too. So. So that sort of bump bouncy rhythm, bouncy. So it's boing, boing, boing all the way through, and there's quite a lot of triplets in it. And this is the awkward thing as well, is that triplets, when you play triplets in reels and sometimes even in jigs, they're not really triplets. They're more like semiquavers or 16th notes. 2 16th notes followed by an 8th note, or 2 semiquavers followed by a quaver, whatever language you're using. But in triplets for hornpipes, they are actually triplets. So this is the awkward thing sometimes in trad music, when you hear people say triplets in a reel. It's not really. I've never heard anyone actually play triplets properly in a reel ever for any band. It's just sort of these things taken for granted that they don't really mean triplets. It's just a name that's been assigned to a particular ornament, because it's either that or we have to call it like the 2 semiquaver quaver ornament. And it's easier just to call it a triplet. And also it takes the space usually of 2 notes. So you're playing 3 notes, they're taking the space of 2 notes, but it's not 3 equally spaced notes like a triplet is. So a triplet is ba 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 ba. Whereas in reels, a triplet is more like da da dum da da dum da da dum da da dum. It's not the same. Da da dum is not the same as ba ba ba. Da 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 da. So obviously the one and for the reel is 2 fast things first and then a longer one. In hornpipes, your triplets are all equally valued. Each sort of quaver has its own at the same time as all the others. So bum 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 bum, and there's lots of triplets in hornpipes. So if you're playing something in 4/4 and you're thinking, is this a reel or is this a hornpipe? Ask yourself, is it really fast? If it's not as fast as what you're used to for a reel, it's probably a hornpipe. But then obviously you have to ask yourself, can you hear dotted rhythms in there? Dum da dum da dum. And if you can you hear lots of other triplets as well? Da 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 dum. Sometimes people play these quite fast, but they're never going to reach the speed of a reel. Like there's going to be some people who'll play this. That's never going to be the speed of. Okay, so it's usually about 60-70% of the speed of a reel, so it never reaches the full speed of a reel. Polkas, great tunes for learning, but also, depending on your instrument, hard tunes to accompany on bouzouki guitar, and especially for bodhrán. Bodhrán players have a hell of a lot to do when it comes to polkas. They can easily just go 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, up down, but usually it's played at such a fast, lively tempo that it's usually for bodhrán players. It's twice the speed of their playing. It's really, really quick. Complete opposite for people who are actually playing the notes of the tune. So that's the number one thing for polkas and reels. Students, when they're first learning trad music, can't really hear the difference because they're always looking out for the pulse, which is good. They should be looking out for the pulse, and then they're looking out for the subdivisions, which is better. They should be doing that as well. But sometimes it's hard to hear the difference between bum 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 diddle diddle dum dum diddle diddle dum dum and something that goes da 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 dum the whole way through. So the difference should be that in polkas there's far fewer notes to deal with in every bar. Okay, so between your pulses, it's usually just goes bum 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 bum, and the odd time you will get to dum 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 da da dum 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 da da dum dum da 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 dum dum dum. You know, so there will be the odd little fast little motif or phrase in your polkas. In reels, it's like that the whole way through. As I say, it's rapid fire. It's unrelenting. It should never stop. You'd be super rare to hear like 3 or 4 quavers in a row, or even 2 crotchets in a row in a reel. Very common to hear 2 quavers or 4 quavers in a row in a polka. So bum 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 bum. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. If that was a reel, it'd be it'd be a level deeper. The rhythm, the same pulse. You'll still hear the same regular pulse, but if you go a level deeper into the rhythm, you should feel that there's a lot more. It's a lot busier. There's a lot more going on. Okay, so that's polkas, and most famous one there, John Ryan's polka. In my handouts, students can click on these and and actually hear somebody play John Ryan's polka. I'm not going to do that here for copyright reasons. I have no idea the copyright for some of these handouts that have been handed around, so I'm not going to risk it. So I'll just play the John Ryan's polka for you. I'll butcher another tune. Wish it would stop asking me that. Okay, here we go. John Ryan's polka. No big deal with this one. Just make sure. Yeah, whistle's on. Doesn't sound as good in that whistle. I'm going to use the wild. Got new wild whistles. Woohoo! And make a wee video about that soon. So you hear that da 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 dum bum bum bum. Okay, so that's the first thing. Where if that was a reel, it would be. See the difference? There's a lot of. I can't even play it up to that full speed. That's just too quick. But for a polka, that's no problem. Very, very quick. Need to breathe. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't play at that speed, if it was a reel, because you're losing a lot of the feel of the piece and potential for ornaments and variation. You're just trying to keep up. Up to a full speed. There are some sessions that are like that, and there's a lot of younger players who play like that, but they're kind of just flying through the tune and missing like the whole point of the tune and all the beauty of the tune, because they're just trying to get like 500 notes out at once. You don't want to be playing that speed. You want to be playing at a nice, comfortable speed. So that speed I was playing at for the polka was comfortable, but as soon as I tried to transfer, as you guys heard, that over to the reel, it was really, really hard. So polkas actually feel, for boron players especially, it can feel faster than reels, but that's because some boron players have a choice between playing ridiculously simple accompaniment like bum 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 bum, which is really it's probably beginner level boron playing, or if they have to kick it up a notch and get it into like full speed, full tempo, it could be twice the speed of that. And that's what makes it really hard to accompany, because it's very, very fast for boron players. Complete opposite for melody players. That's really easy for us to play. And then if we tried to transfer that over to reels, that would be really hard for us to play. at that speed. So that's the difference that each guy should be aiming for. Let's make sure I've swapped back over to the right microphone. There we go. You guys should be aiming to hear what's going on a level down from the pulse. So that not only will that get you, is it a like compound or simple time, the difference between a waltz and a slip jig, but it will also get you within simple time signatures, what is the difference between a polka and a reel. You have to go that level beneath the pulse into the meter. That's what meter is. Okay, meter is when you start collecting pulse and knowing which is the strong pulse and which is the weak pulse and what rhythmic units make it up. That you're getting into the sort of nitty gritty of musicianship and music theory at that stage, and that's where you need to be in order so that you don't go into a session and have to keep asking like 30 or 40 times throughout the night, okay, what key are we in? Is this a jig or a reel? What key are we in? Is this a polka or a hornpipe? What key are we in? You know, it can put you off as well, and also, you know, if someone was just to tell you that it's a reel and it's in D, you would think, okay, I've got quite a few things prepared for this. I know how to do this. A reel in D or a jig in G or whatever. But you have to get that level first, so you don't feel like you have to keep asking somebody around you. And they could be wrong. The other thing, you're relying on other people to be right, and sometimes they're wrong as well. So that's the best practice I would advise students to do whenever they're learning Bouzouki, Bouzouki or dadgad guitar, or just guitar in general. Any sort of accompaniment instrument in Irish traditional music, you need to do 10 times more listening than somebody learning the fiddle, flute, whistle, pipes, accordion, concertina, banjo, because they're learning the tunes, but you need to be able to hear instantly that we're in a slip jig in whatever, in A, or a reel in G. You need to get to that level, and it needs to be fast. And you'll enjoy the music more when you're at that level as well, because you can just concentrate more on your actual chords and your little ideas that you're coming up with, rather than trying to hear in a noisy bar. What key is this? What type of music is this? Okay, so that's polkas. Strathspeys. Yeah, I suppose I'll try this. Can I do this even on the whistle? I'll swap over to the microphone in a second. Know the tune, that's the problem. I can hear it in my head. There's a group called O Blind Dogs from Scotland who I listen to quite a bit, who, you know, play this tune. I'm not going to butcher it. Go check out O Blind Dogs, Aird Ranters. That's a really good Strathspey, butter and bread and bread and butter. I'm trying to use a lot of like a food idea, food motif, except for reel and hornpipe and polka. I'm trying to get as many different foods in here as possible. Butter and bread and bread and butter. The main sort of rhythm thing here, the butter and bread, is this butter and bread and bread and butter and butter and bread and bread and butter. Just keep saying that over and over again. You'll hopefully get the rhythm. It's the complete opposite of the dotted rhythm that you get for a hornpipe. For a dotted rhythm in a hornpipe, you're getting the longer note first, the dotted eighth note or the dotted quaver, followed by the semiquaver or the 16th note. I have to stop doing that. I keep doing that because I don't know where you guys are from. If you're in America or in Ireland or Britain or whatever. But in America, this would be your dotted eighth note and 16th note. For us in Ireland and for the Britain as well, that would be your dotted quaver, semiquaver. That is your normal dotted rhythm. Whenever you hear somebody say dotted rhythm, that's what they mean. It's either that or super rare in trad music, you would be referring to this, like dotted crotchet plus quaver, or dotted quarter note plus eighth note. The main sort of similarities between these is that the longer note comes first, the shorter note comes after. That's the norm. Bum, dum, 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 dum. So bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum. The little quick part comes in just before the beat, before the click. dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum. For Strathspey, it's the other way round. Da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum. And I've heard that a lot in their songs as well, Scottish songs. That's how I know when I'm listening to a song, not just the accent or, in fact, it could be Scots Gaelic as opposed to Irish Gaelic, but it's the rhythms. If I hear a lot of dum dee dum 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 in the singing, I know that that's a Scottish tune, because you don't get that in Irish traditional music, or if you do, we've stole it. We've part like everything else. We've taken all the other instruments and all the other types of tunes. Why not that as well? So yeah, if you hear it though, it would be more of a Scottish thing, Strathspey. And you get that a lot in piping, like Highland pipes, Lowland pipes. They play a lot of tunes that have that. As I say, check out Aird Ranters, played by Old Blind Dogs. I can't remember the album. But yeah, just check them out and you'll find it. Okay. Yeah, marches. Left, well, I suppose everybody knows what a march is. Left, right, left, right. I've said here what a lot of textbooks have said. Could be 2/4, could be 4/4, could be 6/8. 99% of the time, guys, it should be 2/4. Like, there are, like, Brian Boru's march and stuff, which I think is in 6/8. But most, it's like a really slow jig, I suppose, would you think of it that way. But most of the time, marches are 2/4. Most of the time. And that's how you'll see them notated in all types of music, in 2/4. So bum 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 da dum da 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 dum. So it should have a very strong left, right marching feel to it. As I said, with waltzes, you've already know the difference between waltzes. She Begs She More. And that's ironic. That's the one that I'm going to be publishing tomorrow. The slip jig will be coming out tonight, but the waltz, I suppose, is it a waltz or is it like an air in 3/4? It's hard to know. Some of these older harp tunes and stuff, from the 17th and early 18th centuries, a lot of them have a mixture of classical tradition as well, which is normal. Everyone gets really upset in Irish traditional music when they start go into the history and they find how little of Irish traditional music is truly ancient, and all of the stuff they've ignored from the 19th century for political reasons. From the 19th century onwards, a lot of stuff which was much, much, much older was ignored because it was seen as tainted by, European influences, particularly British influences. So a lot of the harp stuff, like She Begs She More, and, there's lots of other Carolan tunes. It's only in the 20th century and, the late 20th into the 21st century that there's been a sort of a re-examination of this and, catch yourself on type of thing. You can't ignore something just because you think that it doesn't have the purity of like a reel or a jig. And nearly all of the reels and jigs, guys, are only like 200-300 years old maximum. The jig itself is even older. You can trace its origins back into England. The concertina is the Anglo concertina. The Bouzouki, it's not even 100 years in the instrument that I'm playing. That we even know who brought that over in the 60s from Greece. The banjo, anyone will tell you trace that far back enough, it'll be into American music, African American music, and then back through the slave trade into Africa. So there's very little that we play that is truly Irish traditional music, including all of these tunes, all these tune types. So don't get too bogged down in the history or the purity of any of these things. So I know some people will look at the waltz and go, waltzes are classical, I'm not going to touch those. You're missing out. There's a huge store of stuff that we have in Irish traditional music, which is lovely, and mazurkas as well. I suppose are Eastern Europe, maybe Polish in origin. Yeah, so we take a lot in Irish traditional music. The slow air, guys, that should be easy to know. I would highly advise against accompanying a slow air on the bouzouki or even piano or guitar, unless two things. You're asked to do it and you know the tune really, really well. That's the one thing, guys, I'd say you cannot, excuse my language, bullshit. Okay? Don't ever do that in a session. If someone plays a slow air, shut the up. Okay? And let them play it. If you don't know it, don't bullshit it. Okay? So that's as strong as I can make it. Okay, so don't ever ruin a slow air. It's that one of the highlights of the night in a session. If someone starts playing a slow air or starts singing a slow air, show a bit of respect for it. It's the one time that you cannot, you just can't. You will be told. It's the one time I think a lot of people in a pub will probably fall out with you, or they'll shout at you to be quiet. So. That's the one thing, because it's meant to be free time and it's meant to be a solo thing, and usually the person doing it has put a lot of heart and soul into it, so anything else, all the diddly dee stuff that, have a go. So it's sort of like the opposite of everything else on top here. So yeah, that's my take on it anyway. Okie doke. Yeah, this will be up on the website as well if anyone's interested. It should be there. It's a sort of a neat wee summary. As I do say so myself, it's a neat wee sort of summary of all the stuff that we have in Irish traditional music. As I say, there's a couple of things I'm missing there. I'm missing mazurkas and I'm missing slides. Slides, guys, are in 12/8. Okay, but really, when I think of a slide. Write it in. Ooh, and very wibbly wobbly. Nice pen. There we go. A slide is in 12/8. I just think of a slide. It's kind of a mishmash between a single jig and a double jig. It's just 2 6/8 in a row. Okay, and probably a wee bit more of this for them as well. Like O'Keefe's slide is a really good one. If you don't know that one, go to session.org. Loads of recordings of it. Really, really nice tune. O'Keefe's slide. 12/8 is kind of, it can put students off when they see that in a book, but just think of it as 2 6s. 2 6/8 will add up to your 12/8, and you'll have a wee bit more of this rhythm than you would normally do in a double jig. Okay, so double jigs tend to have more sort of dotted quarter notes, dotted crotchets. That doesn't mean that they don't have this at all, guys. They do. There's going to be quite a few jigs that have that crotchet and quaver rhythm, yes, but most of the time it's going to be just repeated quavers and a lot of repeated ideas. That's what gives it its double jig. Okay, the phrasing of it as well. Okay, so slides I've missed out on, and what was the other one? Mazurkas. But again, I suppose you could put mazurkas in with waltzes. Mazurkas. My penmanship. There we go. They're 3/4 as well. Sonny's Mazurka is a very famous one. Again, let me see if I can get you guys the audio. Sonny's Mazurka. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Sorry. Oh dear. Sonny's Mazurka. Okay. Oh. Am I spelling it wrong? That was a famous one, wasn't it? Have I just assumed that it is? Okay. What's this one? Okay, I can't play it on the whistle because of the G sharps, but it should be something like. So you see the way it's like a 1, 2, da da dum dum. I always forget there's an audio. That was nice though. Is there not one in... Oh. That's kind of nice, isn't it? So those are your mazurkas. Whoops. Is that meant? I think that's what it'd be da-da-da rather than... There's your triplet idea. See the way up here? This is proper notation. Well done. Whoever... Dave. Dave F. Yes. Yeah, this is the way it should be. Da-da-dum-dum. Whereas this is the way that you'll see it written out in books. So Jack B, yep, this is the way you would see it written down in any notation book as triplets, but that's not how you would play it, as you know. So da-da-dum. Whereas if you played it as a triplet, da-da-da-da-da-dum. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Da-da-da-dum. Whereas it should be ba-ba-ba-bum. Not this. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Da-da-dum-dum-dum-bum. Needs a wee bit more crispness to the triplet to get it sounding like this. 2 semiquavers quaver. That's your ornament rather than this. Okay. Yeah, great. Lovely tune. Alan Jones, good stuff. I can't find Sonny's Mazurka, guys. That is shocking. It's the one of the first tunes I learned on the pipes. If I can remember how it goes. How long did I just look for it? Sonny's Mazurka. Yeah. Coming up here, no problem, on Google. Okay. Oh, it's just called Sonny's. Right. Okay. Whatever. It's a Mazurka and it's called Sonny's. I was typing in Sonny's Mazurka and probably spelling Mazurka wrong, was it? I don't know. No? Okay, whatever. Alrighty, here is a da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. Oh, goodness. It's a nicer version, actually, than the one that I learned. Yeah, I prefer that, actually. Yeah. Can't do the accompaniment that I usually do to it though. Now could this be B minor? Yeah, you can tell it's got a almost like a minuet feel to it. You can tell that there's a lot of classical influences of mazurkas, or at least classical music has been influenced by mazurkas. That's probably a better way of thinking of it. So to me, that sounds like a lot of classical sort of almost like minuets and stuff. You're almost expecting a wee trill. If you wanted to make it classical sounding. But yeah, that was one of the first ones I learned on the pipes, Sonny's Mazurka. Triple time, da-da-dum. It's got this sort of ba-ba-bum-ba. A lot of the Baroque dances as well, just like the Mazurka, I suppose, they're influenced heavily by the upbeat, the anacrusis. You know, how does it lead into it? Da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. So quite a hard, strong first beat. And it's usually repeated, the note that comes after it. Da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-bum, 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 da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. So there's usually this bum, 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 bum. That type of rhythm in mazurkas to watch out for. Whereas waltzes tend to be a bit more graceful than that. There's a lot more of a 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Usually the 3 is more prominent, not the 2. The 2 is more prominent in mazurkas here. Dum 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 dum. Whereas waltzes are more like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah. So watch out for all that stuff. Yeah, I might update this at some stage and remember to put in slides and mazurkas, but really, the mazurkas guys are nowhere near as popular as waltzes, and slides are nowhere near as popular as jigs or even single jigs. The way to sort of know this is look up O'Neill's 1001 or one of the Colta's Couture Aaron publications, and you'll find that for every slide there's like 50 jigs. You know, it's the same in O'Neill's 1001. There's maybe a couple of dozen slides in that book, and there's hundreds and hundreds of jigs. Okay, so something to bear in mind when it comes to learning your tunes. Don't ignore them though. Be nice to sort of, you know, if you had the time, nosy your way through the session. And the great thing about this as well, guys, is they tell you where the recordings are for this. So, yeah, depending on, you know, Come West Along the Road, Brian O'Connor, yeah, why the heck not? And there is where it is, you know, and Apple Music, yeah, Music Brains as well. So you can even, from here, find the actual tune played by a proper musician. Yeah. So really, really handy, guys. Can't recommend the session.org enough. Okay. Was there anything else? I'll have a nosy just to see is anyone. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Sorry, guys. I forgot to put in the stuff. Sorry about that. Just in case you need to contact me about anything. Okay. Okay, doke. So, if anyone has any questions, you can go for it. I'm going to hang around for another couple of minutes if anyone wants to ask me anything. And if you don't have any questions, you can just watch me try and butcher some traditional accompaniment. As I say, I will upload that jig to my website. It's a good 10 minutes long as well, which means you can just have it playing in the background while you try and find something. Whoops. move into another tune. Did that record? Let's see. It's always fascinating to see. Also, guys, if you happen to be listening to it live, any of this stuff, and it doesn't line up, let me know. Oh dear, what happened to the recording? Oh my goodness. Tell me that's not like that the whole way through. Oh no. Okay, let me see. I've got an awful feeling that the whole broadcast has been stuttery. Well, it wasn't. Okay, thank goodness for that, but it's still pretty bad mistakes. Whoa, I wonder what happened. Hopefully you guys weren't hearing that, though. If you were, apologies, guys, if that was crap the whole way through, that you were trying to listen along and the whole audio was diggity the whole way through. Sorry about that. I'm just listening back to it now and it sounds okay. Yeah, so it sounds all right now. Not to worry. If it sounds awful, I'll try and fix it. Okay, so, but in the meantime, keep a wee eye out on Instagram for the and on YouTube and on Facebook for all the new posts that are coming. There's a couple of new tunes that are coming out. There's the what was it? Farewell to Wally's Range, the slip jig, and She Begs She More, an O'Callaghan tune on the Bouzouki and with whistle as well. So those will be coming out over the next, well, tonight and tomorrow. And also on the website, I'll put this up and I'll put the handout up for all the different sort of styles of trad tunes, all the different structures for jigs, slip jigs, reels, hornpipes, everything that we were looking at tonight. That'll be up on the website as well. And if you have difficulty accessing any of that stuff, do let me know, get in contact, and I'll keep a wee eye out for it to see if let's make sure that it actually works. Okay, we'll leave it there, guys, and I'll see you again next week for the practice with me session on Tuesdays, 6:15. And yeah, take it easy. Have a great week and see you next time. All the best.